try something different to start. Could you put your hand in the air if you or someone in your family at some point was a newcomer to Canada? Nice and high, wow. Just take a look around. It's incredible. And so my name is Tricia Jose, this is Shikha and we're here to talk to you about Arrive, a platform that we've co-founded that supports newcomers in their journey to becoming Canadian. It's a social and professional community meant to help open doors of opportunity to make Canada home. Why we saw that amazing RBC video just now is because we're also a part of a group called RBC Ventures, which is a subsidiary of RBC that was set up to create solutions and innovate a whole bunch of new stuff to go beyond banking and solve real problems. So we're super excited to be here with you today. I know that we're just before lunch, so we'll try to keep this short and sweet for all of you, and to really help you figure out what to take away from our talk. We've made it nice and simple. We want to talk to you about the 3 P's today: path, people, and purpose. And you'll know exactly what we mean in just a second.
Good morning, everyone. Really happy to have you all here today. And before we jump into the 3 Ps, I think for me personally, before I talk about my path, I'd like to talk about the path of my parents. My parents came from India to Canada when I was around 3 years old. They came here like many newcomer families that we know that are here for that opportunity. They were here to make Canada home. They came here very experienced and educated with PhDs in English, masters in mechanical engineering, but they got here and that just wasn't their reality. Unfortunately, they had to take survival jobs that were out of their field of work. And at the time, I never quite appreciated it because I didn't actually know what that meant. I didn't understand the struggles that they went through because I was quite young and I couldn't appreciate it. I was in my own transition. And so when they told me, don't worry about it, just continue on your own path, we're here for you, I really took that to heart. And so I created my own path. And mine started when I was at the age of 8 as a rhythmic gymnast. That was a sport that wasn't very common in Canada, nor was it very common for someone who looked like me, someone from India, to be on stage. But that didn't matter to me because I loved the sport. I would do anything to be on that stage regardless of seeing myself represented. So I trained hard every day and night, so much so where I eventually made it onto the Canadian team and represented Canada on the international stage. I took that mindset of creating my own path from my athletic career all the way to my professional career. And so when I graduated from my Master's of Business at RadGen, I knew one day I wanted to create a business, I just didn't know what that idea was yet. And so for me, my path in my professional career started in the corporate world. I thought, why not get into banking, have multiple different roles, and figure out what I want to do from there. I decided to do things in product, in marketing, and digital. All different things, completely different, not linear. But that didn't matter because it led me to where I am today. I am so proud to be a founder of a company that in full circle is solving the problems and the pain points that my parents went through 20-something years ago. And I'm able to reimagine the way that newcomers make Canada home.
I think what's so incredible about Shikha's story, beyond the fact that she was on Team Canada, is that it wasn't linear, and I think that's the lesson that we wanted to share with you today. I feel a lot of similarities, of course a different path, but a similar start. My family came to Canada when I was 3 years old as well, from the Philippines. And it was through them that I realized that and I didn't understand at the time, all the sacrifices that they made for me, they afforded me the ability to see that I could achieve anything that I wanted to do. My parents actually have backgrounds in IT and in business, but they showed me that despite what you studied in school, despite what you could do anything that you set your mind to as long as you cared deeply about it. So one of the things my family has done is that as a family of 4, we've written and directed nonprofit musicals, our most recent one raising over $300,000 to local and international charities. And so that's something that I've carried with me throughout. The other thing that I think is really interesting is that I actually, growing up, never thought that there was a difference between the abilities of men and women or girls and boys. I just thought that no matter what I want to do, I could achieve it. And when I reflect on it, it has a lot to do with the upbringing that I had of my parents and how they raised me, but also to do with the really amazing female role models I had. I went to an all-girls school, and so I saw a lot of examples of what I could be like. And I heard Eugenia mention in her talk earlier, being able to see what you can do is so, so important. At the same time, I also had really incredible male advocates who vouched for me, gave me that foot in the door and that opportunity when I needed it. And so with that said, I actually studied computer science, which is traditionally male-dominated, but it didn't matter to me. I became a software engineer, and then I moved to Toronto eventually to do my master's in biomedical engineering, where I focused on intelligent assistive technology. And then I found myself starting a fintech company, and by way of introduction, found myself at RBC Ventures, where again, Shikha and I are continuing to be supported by amazing individuals in shaping our path, in shaping our lives' path, in making it grow.
And I think that last piece of the individuals, that really comes down to our second P, which was the people in our lives. Having different paths, we actually cultivated our own communities and networks and people to support us at every phase of our journeys. And so it really comes down to surrounding yourselves with people that are going to celebrate your wins, help you learn from your failures, and really be there with you at every phase when you need them. For me, a personal story, joining RBC, I was coming from the banking world. I thought, okay, I wanted to do something different. I'm finally ready to start my own business, but I was still scared. And an individual in RBC Ventures looked at me and made me realize my path was enough. I was ready to do this, and they took that chance on me. And I'm forever grateful. And now, as much as I can, I want to give back too, because building that people and that network for yourselves, it's so important to take what you can from them, but it's also equally important to give back.
And that's why I think this topic of radical generosity is so amazing. I think that when Shikha and I reflect on our stories, and we've talked about this especially prior to the talk and throughout our whole journey, we feel a lot of gratitude for all those people who have given us a chance, saw something in us, and whether it was they took a meeting with us, or they talked to us on the phone, or opened up doors, we wouldn't be where we are today. Our paths wouldn't have taken the journey that they've taken if it wasn't for those individuals. I think we also feel, in reflecting upon our experiences, we feel a lot of humility in reflecting on our parents and seeing that they didn't have those opportunities necessarily. It was much harder for them. And that's why we feel so driven by this mission to help newcomers to Canada in making those meaningful connections so that they can find those peers that they can lean on and be supported by, those potential advocates and champions that will help them unlock the opportunities that they need to make Canada home. And that really drives us to our last P, which is purpose. Our challenge for you today is to think about this a little bit differently. We hear a lot about people following their passions, doing what they're passionate about, but at the end of the day, Shikha and I have been through our journeys passionate about a lot of things, but passion is fleeting. So we encourage you to think about your purpose. What is the North Star that you want to do? What is the ultimate goal you want to realize in this world? Whether it's changing the way that you look at things, or changing the way that the world looks at things, or even creating impact in a different way. Set your vision on that, because while your path may change, it's totally okay. The people will help you get there, but knowing where you're going, there's nothing that you can't do. Right?
And so even though Tricia and I had very different paths and relied on very different people, it's the purpose of Arrive that really unites us together. And we are so excited about being able to make an impact on the lives of new Canadians coming to Canada to establish themselves. Knowing that our families went through it, and meeting with newcomers these days and picking some up from the airport and doing things to learn about their journeys is what gets us going. It makes us strive every day and wake up with a purpose. And so knowing that we are right before lunch, if we can hammer home those 3 Ps once more that we hope you can take away, it's just know that your path does not need to be linear. You can shape and change and evolve, and that's just a part of life. And for people, surround yourself with those people that are going to be your support, and also give back to them. This community of sheEO and RadGen is amazing. Meet someone today and make sure that you can keep that connection last. And last, it's the purpose. Know your North Star. What keeps you going? What makes you wake up every morning? Work towards that. And so our ask to you, knowing that it's going to be very difficult, and it has been difficult for us, is to be those people that will help newcomers on their path to find their purpose in making Canada home. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.